My Ozzy, my darling husband, always knew how to make an entrance. Whether it was stepping onto a stage in front of thousands or simply walking into our living room, he had a way of making every moment feel electric, unforgettable. There was a certain magic about him, a spark that drew people in and made them feel alive. And he was just as particular about his exit. Ozzy never did anything halfway, and he made it clear that his final bow should be just as memorable as his first. He made me promise over and over that when his day came there'd be no dreary, miserable affair. He'd look me in the eye and say, "Sharon, don't you dare let them turn it into a sad, gloomy day. Sharon, I want a party. I want a proper celebration. I've had a bloody good run, so let's have a laugh." He wanted everyone to remember the good times, the wild stories, and the laughter that followed him everywhere. The idea of a somber funeral was never in Ozzy's DNA. He believed that life was too short for regrets and too precious for sorrow. He saw life as something to be lived loudly, and death as a reason to remember the wild, wonderful moments. He wanted his send-off to echo with music, stories, and the kind of joy that defined his life. He once joked about playing a ridiculous medley of pop songs just to make people smile. "Imagine them all dancing to ABBA at my funeral," he'd laugh, and I knew he meant it. So, as we planned his farewell, his voice guided every decision. Make it a celebration worthy of the Prince of Darkness. Every song, every decoration, every laugh was chosen with him in mind. We had two goals: give Birmingham a chance to say goodbye with music and community, to let the city that shaped him join in the celebration of his extraordinary life, and have a private gathering for his closest family and friends. We wanted to honor the man behind the legend, the one we knew and loved at home. It was about balancing the global icon with the husband, father, and grandfather we loved. We wanted to make sure both sides of Ozzy were celebrated, the world's rock star and our family's heart. Every detail was chosen with his spirit in mind, ensuring his final curtain call was a joyful, rock-and-roll farewell. We filled the room with music, laughter, and stories that would have made him proud. This was Ozzy's last wish, a send-off filled with laughter, music, and love. No tears, just cheers. And as we raised our glasses, we knew we were giving him exactly what he wanted: a celebration of a life lived to the fullest and a legacy that will never fade. Birmingham was in Ozzy's blood, woven into every note he sang and every story he told. The city's streets, its people, and its spirit shaped him from the very beginning, and in return he became a symbol of Birmingham's resilience and creativity. The city deserved a proper send-off for its most famous son, a celebration that would reflect not just his legacy, but the love and pride Birmingham felt for him. On July 30th, the city came together, fans, friends, and family, gathering from every corner to honor him. The air was thick with anticipation and emotion, as if the whole city paused to remember. We funded the public event as a thank you to the city that shaped him, ensuring everyone could take part in this moment of remembrance and gratitude. A hearse carried Ozzy down Broad Street to the Black Sabbath bridge and bench, now transformed into a shrine overflowing with flowers, handwritten notes, and heartfelt messages from fans. It was a pilgrimage, a final tour through the streets that echoed with his memories, places where he once walked, laughed, and dreamed. This wasn't a silent procession. Instead, the city buzzed with energy, as if every step was a tribute to the life and music Ozzy brought to the world. Bostin Brass played lively, brummy tunes, no mournful hymns, just music full of spirit and joy. The band's sound filled the streets, echoing the vibrancy Ozzy brought to his performances. The sound was both respectful and joyful, a perfect touch that turned sadness into celebration. People smiled through their tears, clapping along, remembering the good times. The streets were lined with fans of all ages, saying goodbye to a neighbor, a friend, a symbol of Birmingham's grit and heart. Children, parents, and grandparents stood side by side, united in tribute. It was a fitting, dignified tribute. Birmingham's final bow for its Prince of Darkness. The city stood tall, proud to honor one of its own. The city's heart beat for him one last time, every clap and cheer a testament to the love that will never fade. It was more beautiful and heartfelt than I could have ever imagined, a true celebration of a legend and a memory Birmingham will cherish forever. The journey down Broad Street felt like the entire city stood still for Ozzy. Every face in the crowd told a story: pride, love, and memories. The Black Sabbath bench was more than a landmark. It was a symbol of how far he'd come. The tributes, flowers, notes, candles, showed the personal impact he had on so many. Bostin Brass played anthems, not dirges. The city itself was singing him home. Though public, the procession felt intimate, a shared experience of grief and gratitude. Birmingham wrapped its arms around our family, honouring John Michael Osbourne, the local lad who made good. This farewell was a gift from the city to Ozzy, and from us back to Birmingham. It gave fans a space to grieve and celebrate together. As the hearse moved on, I felt peace. We'd honoured his connection to home. Birmingham had its moment. Now it was time for our private goodbye. After the public tribute, it was time for our family's moment. Ozzy wanted a small, private gathering. No sorrow, no black clothes. We wore bright colours, shared stories, and filled the room with his favourite things: music, photos, laughter. Instead of a solemn eulogy, we had an open mic for Ozzyisms and cherished memories. Our children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack, shared stories that had us laughing through our tears. It was exactly what he wanted, a room full of love, not mourning, but celebrating the madness and joy of his life. The music was a mix of his classics and secret favourites. We ended with a toast, not a moment of silence. We cried, but we laughed more. We gave him the celebration he deserved, a final party for the ultimate rock and roll survivor. Beyond the stage, Ozzy was the man who muttered around the house, shuffling from room to room in his slippers, always with a running commentary about the world around him. He saw the world in his own hilarious way, finding comedy in the smallest details of daily life and making even the most ordinary moments feel extraordinary. He once became convinced our dog was a secret strategist, plotting elaborate schemes from his spot on the rug, narrating its every move with total seriousness, as if the fate of the household depended on it. The whole family would be in stitches as he described the dog's missions. His humour was often unintentional, like his ongoing war against the devil's rectangle remote control, which seemed to have a mind of its own. He once tried to fix it with a hammer, convinced that brute force might finally bring peace to the living room. These quirks are the memories I treasure most, snapshots of a man who never took himself too seriously, and who filled our home with laughter. He had a heart of gold, always ready with a kind word or a comforting hug, even on his toughest days. Quietly helping anyone in need, especially underdogs, he believed everyone deserved a second chance, and he never hesitated to lend a hand. "Of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most," he'd say with a wink, always ready with a self-deprecating joke. But his mind was a place of wild creativity and deep empathy, a source of endless stories and ideas. On more than one occasion, he'd find himself utterly perplexed by modern gadgets. I remember the day he stared at a new coffee machine, then asked, "Sharon, where does the fire go?" as if expecting it to run on magic and matches. He could command a stadium with the energy of a true rock legend, but be completely baffled by a kitchen appliance, turning the simplest task into a comedy routine. These funny human moments paint the truest picture of the man behind the legend, someone who made us laugh even when he didn't mean to. He never lost his sense of wonder. Always curious, always ready to be amazed by the world, and he never lost his ability to make us laugh, to bring joy into any room he entered. That's the Ozzy I'll always remember, the legend, the laughter, and the loving heart behind it all. To understand Ozzy, you have to know where he came from. Aston, Birmingham, 1948. Life was tough, but music was his escape. In 1968, he joined Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward to form Black Sabbath. Their heavy, powerful sound reflected the city's industrial grit and gave a voice to outsiders. Ozzy's haunting voice became the soundtrack to a generation. After Sabbath, he launched a solo career, proving himself a formidable artist. He surrounded himself with brilliant musicians and created iconic anthems. In the 2000s showed the world the funny, loving family man behind the rock god. From Aston's factories to global superstardom, his journey was one of a kind. Ozzy was a pioneer, a survivor, and a true original. Even as his health failed, Ozzy's spirit never broke. He endured surgeries and Parkinson's, but his desire to perform never faded. His final show was at Villa Park, Birmingham, back to the beginning, a triumphant homecoming. He reunited with Black Sabbath, playing to over 42,000 fans. Despite pain, the moment the music started, the old fire returned. He gave everything to that crowd, and they gave their love back. It was more than a concert, it was a communion, a full-circle farewell. I'm grateful he had that night, his final gift to his fans and theirs to him. He went out as he lived center stage, volume all the way up. Since Ozzy passed, we've been surrounded by love from around the world. Every tribute, every message has brought comfort and reminded us of his immense impact. We're grateful for the time we had with him at the end, laughter, reflection, and love. He passed peacefully, surrounded by family. Now we focus on celebrating his life, sharing stories, and honoring his wish to avoid a mope-fest. He'd want us to be strong and keep his memory alive by living fully. The world is helping us celebrate him, and for that we're eternally grateful. Thank you to everyone who's honored Ozzy in their own way. Your love gives us strength and pride. Ozzy Osbourne was more than a rock star. He was a force of nature. With Black Sabbath, he helped invent heavy metal, influencing generations. His unique voice and music are timeless, giving outsiders a sense of belonging. Through his solo career and our TV show, he became a symbol of survival and authenticity. He lived life on his own terms, made mistakes, and always got back up. For us, his family, his legacy is in the laughter of his grandchildren and the strength he gave our children. He taught us to fight, to laugh, and to find light in the darkness. The Prince of Darkness may have taken his final bow, but his light will never go out. His music, image, and story will inspire forever. Rest in peace, my darling Ozzy. We love you.